Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. SEC versus Ripple, a weapon. You need to know these facts. SEC treason, we're going to take a look at that. XRP holders, Rockerfeller type wealthy. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen. Everything we're talking about here today. Follow us on at TikTok or Digital Perspectives, no spaces, for exclusive content there as well. $991 billion market cap for crypto. We're off by 0.1%. Good morning. It's July 9th. 2022. Bitcoin right now, 21,400. We got some information for you to see about Bitcoin if you're a holder. Know what you hold, ladies and gentlemen. Ethereum as well. $1,200 plus, and XRP. We got information all on these three today that you're going to want to see. 34 cents per XRP right now. Let's look at the range of price very quickly. 34 and 35 cents. It's a pretty tight trading range today. Let's see what we got here. It is linked to this morning that is going to bring us, incredible clips of a great conversation between Ray Fuentes from Link2 and Jimmy Valley from Val Hill Capital. And no, it is not talking about XRP at $37,500 price predictions. What we're talking about today is exposing exactly what has gone on with the SEC versus Ripple case and so much more in content. You're going to love it, every single bit of it. Let's get started here. First of all, I want to remind everybody, Kava Network is a lightning fast layer 1 blockchain that combines the interoperability of Cosmos with the developer support of Ethereum. By the way, they are the fastest growing blockchain for protocols. And the next AMA with Scott Stewart, you can see that Kava 11 is officially set to launch August 31st. TVL, total value locked, will explode with smart contracts. I tell you, I'm very excited about what these guys are doing, and I am making sure I follow every single bit of it, and I'm asking you guys to do the same. Give them a follow and go check them out and tune in to that launch and the AMA as well. Take a look at this right here very quickly. I tell you, this should disturb every single one of us. Stablecoin scrutiny, Tether CTO on the reserves. Now, this is the issue, ladies and gentlemen. I have said I'm waiting for the market to come down even more if we get SEC lawsuit against a major exchange or more. And if we see USDTether actually get collapsed the way US Terra did, and I tell you, you may have more concerns after hearing this clip. Take a quick listen here.
5 billion by the end of July this year. So the most important thing when you are running a stable coin and you want it to be tethered to the underlying national currency, that in this case is the dollar, is having instruments in your portfolio that track the underlying currency, and of course you have to have the right type of reserves. As we have seen with US Treasuries, we were able to fulfill around $7 billion in redemptions in 48 hours, 10 billion in 1 week, and around 20 billion in 1 month.
Paulo, thank you for that clarification, because I think what you explained there is that Tether is not literally pegged to the dollar. As the name and marketing suggest, it's pegged to your portfolio of assets, and that worth is determined by what the market believes, which isn't always stable and isn't always a dollar. It went as low as 96 cents earlier this year. So that may not be obvious to everyone. Thank you. Let's move on to those reserves. As you said, you're reducing the amount of commercial paper. You ultimately want to get that to zero. Have you ever used commercial paper holdings as collateral?
No.
You've never used, have you ever used treasuries as collateral?
Not at all.
And do you have an outside management firm that manages treasury bills and commercial paper and your reserves?
Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
Does an outside firm manage your holdings of reserves of commercial paper, treasury bills, etc.?
No, we have.
I tell you what, that's 3 no's, and they're not good, ladies and gentlemen. And to the point of the woman who is interviewing the CTO of Tether here, you're pegged not to the dollar, it's pegged to your portfolio. That's not good. I tell you what, I don't know about you, but this is looking a lot like to me that Tether has yet to have its day to be called to carpet. And when it does, it may collapse this market in a way we've never even thought of. I'm reminding everybody right now, we covered that the Pentagon has cited that it only takes 4 entities to disrupt. 4 entities to disrupt Bitcoin and only 2 to disrupt Ethereum. That is from the Pentagon. I'm reminding you also that per the information we've learned from the lawsuit of the employees that used to work at Consensus, now suing over intellectual property and an illegal sale, as they claim, that it looks like that this makes Ethereum vulnerable because at the end of the day, to one single point of failure, because JP Morgan owns a significant state of this infrastructure, and now they basically own Ethereum. You know, things may look like one way on the outside. Look at Tether, look at Bitcoin, and look at Ethereum, and all the prices are going up. Okay, look, I hope everybody makes a gazillion dollars. I really do. I hope you get the Lambos and watches or whatever else you're interested in. But I tell you, I see a day of reckoning coming for these things if it doesn't get fixed. This gentleman right here, go check out the interview with Thinking Crypto, Tony Edwards here, and Greg Dickerson. He essentially says the same thing. Take a quick listen.
And, you know, so you have on-chain, and on-chain always looks bullish. It always looks good. And, you know, you've got all these indicators, but you got to remember that's lagging, and it's also manipulated because the whales know that you're watching on-chain, and people will say, oh, all these coins are moving off exchanges. That's because people don't trust the exchanges. So if I'm going to buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin, I'm going to pull it off the exchange. Even if I'm going to sell it 2 days later, I'm still going to pull it off the exchange. So when you see those moves into cold storage, it doesn't mean that they're holding forever. Even if it's a wallet that, you know, has, you know, coins over a year and all that, you know, they know what they're doing, you know, and they know that it's being tracked and watched, and they don't want to create panic, and they want to make the market think what they want the market to think. And then some of it is, you know, some whales that are just there forever, and they're going to buy as much as they can, and they believe in the scarcity of it. But listen, at the end of the day, what you got to remember is, do you want to buy an asset where only 5 people control it?
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. He's saying the same thing we've been saying here for a very, very long time. Do you want to buy an asset where only 4 or 5 people control it? The Pentagon recognizes it, for goodness sakes. Know what you hold. This is Michael Saylor, who was the biggest loser in the .com bubble, too arrogant and condescending to explain Bitcoin because all he does is huff.
Sure.
Why don't you break this down simply for people like me that don't fully understand it?
Okay.
I tell you, that arrogance and condescending attitude, and he doesn't even really want to go through really what he's talking about, because the truth is he knows the real answer. That's what I believe, and if he doesn't, then he's the fool, right? So I'll break it down for you. Bitcoin is a blockchain that uses proof of work to move value. The problem is proof of work isn't necessary to power a blockchain anymore. And I didn't even sigh. Now we're going to get to it right here, ladies and gentlemen. You may know, you may not know, but I'm encouraging you to stay with me through all of this. John Deaton puts out a reminder that the SEC lawsuit against Ripple, in fact, was a weapon. And he's recommending everybody reread the Grunfest letter now that we know so much more. It is very enlightening to reread the letter now that we have much more context and knowledge about the lawsuit and why and how it was filed. A few more things will jump out at you. Remember, Joseph Grunfest encouraged the SEC and Jay Clayton to not sue and go after Ripple and XRP, and that if they did, whatever they came up with should apply to Ethereum, whether it got a free pass or whether it didn't. That's in short. Now, for example, when Grunfest discusses the mass exodus of senior leadership at the SEC after filing the case, he notes the directors of Division of Enforcement, Corporate Finance, and Trading and Markets have all been deeply involved in the decision to file the suit. Deeply involved says a lot. It means these people were the ones pushing for the lawsuit as they were walking out the SEC's door forever. Think about that for a minute. Why would these individuals push the most significant non-fraud SEC enforcement action since Howey and leave? Who are we talking about? Who left? Jay Clayton, the chairman. William Hinman, director of corporate finance. Mark Berger, director of enforcement. Bruce Redfern, director of trading markets. Clayton's firm, Sullivan Cromwell, represented Consensus and Joseph Lubin and brokered the Quorum JP Morgan deal, a direct competitor to Ripple and XRP. Clayton goes to One River with its $1 billion dollar bet on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Clayton voted to bring the case and filed it on his last full day. Hinman didn't retire from Simpson Thacher per the SEC ethics chief, and he collected $15 million from his ongoing partnership at the firm, a member of the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, while at the SEC. Hinman agreed to give Ethereum the free pass requested by the EEA law firm Perkins Coie, hired by Andreessen Horowitz, A16, and is now a partner there. Berger, director of enforcement, helped the grossly overbroad complaint, absurdly alleging all XRP, including secondary market sales of XRP independent of Ripple, are unregistered securities. He was made a partner at Simpson Thacher, a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. You know, Bruce Redford, a banker from JP Morgan, which we know is now basically the owner of Ethereum, before going to the SEC, left days after the lawsuit as well in March 2021. He was hired by Coinbase. He resigned after 4 months. There are more nuances you pick up on when rereading the Grunfest letter, which you can do right here on this link. But when you think how significant digital currencies are, Bitcoin, CBDCs, it's not hyperbole to call the SEC versus Ripple XRP case as the most significant non-fraud enforcement action since 1946. Who files a case of this magnitude and leaves? They all left. Why? And there you have it. But I'm going to give you some real meat to the bone right here. And this is Jimmy Vallee sitting down with Link2. And you're going to want every single bit of this. And he's going to talk about major facts. You need to hear this. Check it out. 1 second, let me cue this up right. And by the way, if you're not aware, Jimmy Vallee worked at a major law firm doing merger acquisitions deals. He knows exactly what the law is on these type of actions. No question about it. Take a listen.
When you start having agencies of the federal government, like the Securities and Exchange Commission, potentially the IRS, come after an asset like they have with Ripple and indirectly XRP. They knew exactly what they were doing by filing this lawsuit, even if they couldn't ultimately win it. Just basically filing the lawsuit created such a massive claim and cloud on title that it's basically frozen the market, right? It served as pretext for many exchanges like Coinbase, a bunch, I could go on and on, to delist it, right? When they probably didn't have the legal capacity or legal authority to delist. They just point to the case and say, well, there's this ongoing dispute about whether it's a security or not. And if it's a security, we don't have a security brokerage license. We can't be, engaged in this type of stuff. But they used it as pretext to basically shut off the market to retail. And when you step back and you look at that, and also the fact pattern around how it happened. Remember, the lawsuit was filed on December 22nd, 2020. Chairman Clayton leaves the next day. The vote among the 5 commissioners whether to bring the claim was not unanimous. It was a 3-2 vote, with the deciding vote, Chairman Clayton literally running out the door the very next day. That in and of itself is a huge head scratching type of thing. It's so head scratching that Grunfest, who was a Stanford law professor at the time, he's also a former SEC commissioner, had written a letter to all 5 commissioners 5 days, I think, before the lawsuit was filed, basically telling them exactly what was going to happen, that they couldn't do it and how bad it would look if several of the people involved, Chairman Clayton, people in enforcement, left. Okay, that was kind of fact number one that was super weird and concerning. It just didn't make sense to an objective person looking at the case, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm going to encourage you to go watch this whole entire interview because it's remarkable. And don't forget, I believe all of this plays to the notion that what we're really talking about here is suppression to the crypto market and Ripple and XRP, which I believe consequently works as a benefit to all of us who understand these things, believe in what this is, and have a chance to accumulate at very suppressed values. Not financial advice, but that is something I am absolutely personally acting on myself. It's my digital perspective, not financial advice. Link underneath the video. This is more great fire right here, and where he lays this down. Take a listen to this and how deep this could possibly go.
Learning a few more. You mentioned a smoking gun. It could be that type of thing that's in the Hinman emails, right? That there's like a direct link to the Chinese Communist Party. If that has occurred, and agents of the U.S. government have basically been acting on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party, that's treason, and
that's right.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know that, but I mean, if there are connections there, we do know that William Hinman was key in navigating the IPO for Alibaba. And there's a whole slew of other connections that need to be investigated because we don't firmly know there exactly how deep that goes. But again, this is another call for the Office of the Inspector General inside the SEC to open an investigation into all of these matters for the integrity of the agency.
Not good at all. Well,
and people need to, if that is the case, which I hope it's not, I really do.
Me too.
But if that is the case, some people really need to start coming clean. Like you said, gloves off, they need to start coming clean immediately to try to basically save their lives.
Wow. Yeah. So you're saying that, we need whistleblowers to come clean or bring whatever information they have to light. And what other series of events do you think need to occur for us to get to?
I think the SEC. I think the SEC needs to disclose not only the emails. I think we need all the documents. I think we need transparency, full transparency around all these matters from the SEC. It probably exposes corruption within the SEC. And some people may go to jail. But in order to reestablish trust in our government, we have to have transparency immediately on these issues, because at this point, they're so far off the reservation. It's so blatantly obvious that they're covering up something. It's the Streisand effect. It's only becoming more and more prominent. The SEC, if they continue on this path, will not exist as an agency. They will be removed. There's no way that participants in a free market are going to trust a fully corrupt federal agency to have anything to do with their financial affairs. It's kind of like we're talking about people's money here, and you know what Big Worm said in Friday, when you mess with my money, you're messing with my emotions, Smokey. So, it's a big problem.
Well said. And, and what, to his point, this is why it's so key for all of us to brush up on exactly where we are, because we are right at the moment just before the judge makes a decision about the Hinman emails. And I think we all understand, and you don't need a law degree to understand, that these emails need to be brought to the fore, because the truth is that if there was something in there that could support the SEC's argument, they would have coughed it up already. And Jimmy Vallee makes a point in an early part of the interview where he actually says, the emails and everything that was a part of their decision on how to sue or why to sue Ripple and over XRP really is the deliberative process, and they shouldn't want to hide one single bit of it. And that's a very, very key important point. Now let's listen to this right here, where he talks about the stuff that we're all here for, which is generational wealth. Now that's talking my kind of language. Rockerfeller type wealthy is what he says right here. Shout out to DAI for these clips. Take a listen.
And you could go right down the line: oil and gas, silver, all these different things, and it's a similar type of an issue. But all of a sudden, for the first time in history, this is all happening, and we have this brand new asset class that didn't even exist. It wasn't on the balance sheet before, right? And it's these digital assets. And you got the one that's basically the most liquid asset that's ever can turn anything of value into anything else of value anywhere else in the world, 3 to 5 seconds. Why not take that one and write that up? And yes, are you going to make a handful of people phenomenally wealthy, Rockefeller type wealthy? Yeah, you're going to end up doing that. But the people that you're going to end up doing that for are the very people who basically did their homework and figured it out. I mean, shouldn't they be rewarded? And not only that, but at this time, those people have held, this is the Shawshank, they've held it now for, 16 months? We're in this lawsuit. I think yesterday was 562 days. So they have literally walked through hell. They have walked through the valley of the shadow of death.
We have walked through hell, Jimmy.
Correct. So, and our, brothers and sisters in the XRP.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there are damages, right? There are damages that have been incurred. There was $15 billion that came out of the marketplace on the day the lawsuit was filed. Extrapolate that over 562 days. That's $1 trillion number right there. If you start looking at its real intended use case and starting to price a damages model based on that, it's more in line with kind of what we put forth in the deal. It's going to be 25,000, 37.5, something maybe even higher now, right?
And this is where we are on this day. And I believe that he has nailed it here. This case, as John Deaton said when he filed his original brief, was used as a weapon. And more importantly, the people inside of those agencies had to have inside knowledge about the power of the technology of Ripple and XRP and the XRP ledger to know that it was the one to be threatened by. In order for Ethereum to get the free pass and for Ripple and XRP to be sued out of the 7, almost 800 other tokens that existed at the time, why did they choose to sue Ripple and over XRP? Because they knew it's the one to beat. Ladies and gentlemen, before I get out of here today, I want to be Rockefeller wealthy myself, but there's never a guarantee. But until that guarantee proves out or not, I'm putting my stuff on cold storage. Majority of my holdings right now are on Ledger, and you can get them there too. They have great specials and deals, but you got to click the links underneath the video to get them. I'll catch all of you on the next one.